Welcome back to Sports Tonight. It's our ready-to-repeat portion of the show, brought to us by Ansira Kia and our main man, Richard Oliver, our Astros guru, joining us for one of my favorite parts of the show weekly. Last week for the Astros, won the World Series rematch, taking 2 of 3 against the Dodgers, and then beat the Giants in 2 games, all while shorthanded.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good week for the Stros.
It really is. And, you know, if the Stros have the special finish that we kind of think they're going to have, a World Series finish again, I think we're going to look back at this stretch as being the one where the Astros kind of made a statement. You know, they win 2 out of 3 in Seattle against a team that's been chasing them all year. They win 2 out of 3 in Dodger Stadium, again shorthanded, without 3 All-Stars in the lineup. And then, of course, they win 2 against the Giants. They should. I still don't know how they won those games. You know, with late bombs in both of those games. Hector, I think we'll look back at this stretch and say this is when the Astros were able to distance themselves from everybody in the American League West a little bit, but also be able to win shorthanded. Next man up. A.J. Hinch says it all the time. That truly is what played out over the last several days.
And speaking of, how are you able to get this done when you're so shorthanded? No Dubin, no Correa, no Spring. I mean, they're big 3,
right,
all out for periods of time during this last stretch here. But the starting pitching, a huge reason why the Stros were able to keep on doing what they've done the last week.
Right, and to be able to survive even with McCullers going out with the forearm strain or whatever is happening with his that great right arm he's got. But Verlander has been outstanding after a little kind of a tough stretch in July. He was kind of pedestrian. He's been outstanding. Dallas Keuchel coming on strong, kind of picking it up. And Charlie Morton, you keep waiting for this guy. He's found it. He's found his mojo. He's got something going. He's got a low 2 ERA. Verlander, low 2 ERA, doing so many special things. And the Astros have a nice little rotation here of off days where they could do the 4-man rotation and maybe survive not having McCullers in that starting rotation.
Now, you talked about we're going to look back on these last, month and a half, 2 months worth of games. We can talk about it in past tense because starting tomorrow with that Mariners series, playtime's over for the Astros. It is now down the stretch. Here we go. And some would say the best way to prepare for another postseason run, but it's going to get significantly tougher from here on out.
It is, and it's going to be interesting to see where the Astros are here next week when we sit down and talk again, because they've got the Mariners coming in. This is the team again that's been chasing them, but the Mariners have some problems. They're not scoring, and that's a big issue when you're going against that Astros rotation. And then here come the Rockies. The Rockies have been a very good team this year. They're coming into Houston as well. And then the Astros go to the West Coast, and they're playing the Oakland A's. That's the hottest team in the American League. It's the team that everyone is keeping an eye on. They're playing so far above their heads, they've got nosebleed this year. But if they do some damage against the Astros in Oakland, we're going to have a very interesting conversation here in a few days.
You hit it right on the head about the A's. I think people keep waiting for them to come back down to earth. And at some point, you kind of have that team every year, not only in baseball, but it seems like in the NBA and the NFL. You're waiting for that team that's exceeding expectations to come back down to earth. And at some point, you just got to say, this is who they are. They're pretty darn good this year. Yeah. Throw out what you thought before the season. The A's are here to stay.
They are. They're young. They're dynamic. They're aggressive. They've got confidence. But they also, we were saying that about the Seattle Mariners just about a month ago. Things haven't gone so well for them. So I think a lot of people are waiting. They're not as good as the Astros. I think the Astros have the American League West, but the A's could make it very interesting because they're very good.
They made it fun to this point so far.
Absolutely.
We'll do it again next week, buddy?
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
When you think Kia in San Antonio, think Ansira on Bandera Road. Ansira Kia is the Kia sales leader, year in and year out.
And coming up next on Sports Tonight, more with Marcus over at Benson Stadium covering the Boys in Red, otherwise known as the University of Incarnate Word football team, and our Campen and Cali coverage on the Boys in Blue. See with it there? A new fan poll question is also on the way and more. We're going to be right back after this.
You're watching Sports Tonight, San Antonio's only nightly 30-minute sportscast with exclusive sports coverage you won't find anywhere else.